I think everybody on this particular Zoom knows this, but Sarartha Darshini is a book that Srila Prabhupada used while composing his own purports to Srimad Bhagavatam. He carried with him a book around the whole country, around the whole world. He carried a book with him called Astaktika. It was a book with 8 different Sanskrit commentaries by previous acharyas on each verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada would refer to those particular commentaries and then compose his own. And one of the most prolific and well-referenced books in that regard is Sarartha Darshini by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So what we've done is what I'm doing, and the way that I'm doing this, is I'm reading the whole Krishna book, but simultaneously trying to figure out how Srila Prabhupada composed his prose with the texts of the book. This first one doesn't really have it, but the second one does. This was the whole commentary, the whole second verse right here. And it's only one verse, but Srila Prabhupada's purport is included in his narrative. So what I'm doing is going through the Krishna book, finding out which sections correlate to the verses, stopping at the end of the paragraph that describes that verse, and then using the verse itself with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentaries. Does anybody have any questions about that, or comments, or experience with?
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead, Acharya.
I can only guess that it must take regularly, actually every week now, a lot of time for you to do that, to read them and understand them and then compare them and sort them out. And I really appreciate you doing it. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
But I'm sure it's a lot of time and energy to do it.
Interestingly, what happened was that when I first started, I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I thought I was going to be so overwhelmed and entangled. But as I worked through it, I actually saw the pattern. There are a few places where it takes time to discern, going back and forth between the texts in the Bhagavatam and then Prabhupada's commentaries in Krishna book, and seeing exactly where that corresponds. But for the most part, it's actually been a very, very wonderful experience. I'm glad that I'm taking the opportunity to have it.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting the way it unfolded. So let's go to what I've prepared for the Zoom. This is June, but no, it isn't. This is October 2024, 1 and 2. I didn't change that, which I will before posting it. We're on chapter 14, prayers offered by Lord Brahma to Lord Krishna. And of course, this comes after chapter 13, wherein Brahma stole, by his illusory potency, he hid the boys and the calves, and Krishna started walking around looking for them. And of course, we read in that chapter about how Krishna revealed to him his omnipotency, his position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he expanded himself as all the cows and all the cowherd boys twice. One was the illusory cowherd boys and calves that Brahma had stolen. The other was the ones that stayed with him, and the other ones were the ones that were originally, and the other ones were himself as cows and cowherd boys going back into Braj every day. So Samapriya, you want to pick somebody and we'll go through the readings as we generally do. You have to unmute.
Thank you. It's very nice to be with everyone again and to see the enthusiasm that everyone has to hear the Bhagavatam, because that is our life and soul. That is the topmost transcendental literature. So thank you So, Acharyaji, why don't you start reading?
Text 1, Krishna book. Brahma said, "My dear Lord, you are the only worshipable Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, I am offering my humble obeisances and prayers just to please you. Your bodily features are the color of clouds filled with water. You are glittering with a silver electric aura emanating from your yellow garments. Let me offer my respectful, repeated obeisances unto the son of Maharaj Nanda, who is standing before me with conch shell earrings and a peacock feather on his head. His face is beautiful. He is wearing a helmet and is garlanded by forest flowers, and he stands with a morsel of food in his hand. He is decorated with a cane, a buffalo horn bugle, and a flute. He stands before me with small lotus feet."
Okay, well, I have a question, Acharya, and it's not about the conch shells.
Okay.
It's very interesting that Krishna presents himself in such a humble manner. We're talking the supreme personality of Godhead, exhibiting himself everywhere and in everything. And this is how he presents himself. What can you tell us about that?
Uh, I thought about that actually a little bit, but I thought of it in terms of Brahma in some Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and other commenters mentioned that Brahma seems to have like a special affection for Balakrishna. And I think that's because that's the form that sort of delivered him from his ignorance.
Well, it was one of the forms that delivered him from his ignorance.
Yeah,
What about the
it
first
happened
form?
more than it happened more than
Yeah,
once.
and
That's
he's
true.
like in the middle of nowhere,
But,
tapa, and there he goes.
right. But at
And this
least in
is
this instance, and also you could think how, of course, Krishna appears in that form ultimately for his own pleasure. But if Brahma had been delivered from his ignorance by very majestic, four-armed Lord Vishnu, he may still think, okay, well, he's the supreme personality of Godhead, and he defeated me, he bewildered me. But if he's defeated by Krishna in this form as a little boy like that, then that's even more humbling in one sense.
yeah.
So
And
maybe that's one way to look at it. I'm sure a lot more can be said about that. Why Krishna, in that form and in that particular relationship with Brahma.
okay. You said that he does things for his own pleasure, but why else does he do it? There's something equal, even
For the benefit of his
for the
devotees.
pleasure is devotee. Yeah.
This reminds me, without going into it, Queen Kunti prayer really goes into, Prabhupada really goes into that very deeply.
Yeah.
When Queen Kunti says, some say you come for the benefit of the Adu,
Right. Yeah.
some say you come to deliver religion. And in commentary, I can't remember if it's in the Bhagavatam purport or in his book, The Prayers of Queen Kunti.
Right.
But he says, ultimately, Krishna does all of those things, but ultimately it's all for his own pleasure.
Yeah. Well, but
So
that's true.
that's a nice part of the Bhagavatam that discusses that.
Very good. Anyone else have something to say about this verse?
Regarding the conch shells, Acharya wrote a nice forum on that, wondering why Srila Prabhupada always translates Gunja berry, Gunja, as conch shells. Couldn't find an answer. Asked several people that were involved with Srimad Bhagavatam book production during the time of Srila Prabhupada, and nobody actually understood why that was. So, Manvantar? You have to unmute.
Yeah, just a comment in terms of what Acharya Prabhu wrote, and it's just so much to unpack in this just one little verse. But just coincidentally, it says text 1 for the Krishna book. Are we using text 1 as kind of like a lesson 1 in terms of where we start in the reading?
No. let me show you how that's working again. Hold on. What I'm doing is text one is, I didn't include it here. This is actually text one right here. This is almost verbatim from the Srimad
Oh,
Bhagavatam.
I see what you're saying.
Srila Prabhupada added this.
Got it.
It's all kind of one,
Yes.
the verse itself, but in text two, it's easier to see. This is text two. Prabhupada writes a little something about it, and then this continues his explanation of it.
Okay.
This is the actual verse right here. That's all it is.
Okay.
Okay, so you can understand the format.
I see what you're
That
saying.
when I say text two or text one, when I put the text and then
Yeah.
Krishna book, that's my going through it and figuring out what part of the
Bhagavatam.
narrative, Srila Prabhupada's
Okay.
including. Yeah, thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
But in terms of what Acharya Prabhu just commented on, isn't it? It sounds like from at least from the reading, because I was a little confused about the reading, so I just did the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord Brahma's relationship with Krishna is usually that of awe and reverence. And he even commented that Krishna, you're my father, how and here he is, a little boy. And Krishna even said that, I'm just playing with my friends. So, but when he saw Krishna, he realized the absolute nature or form of Krishna, it is his eternal form. But Krishna also said, well, you can't really, I don't really enjoy in this awe and reverence situation. And so, but Brahma, I don't know. I'm trying to understand Brahma's relationship with Krishna right now. It's just like, how is he relating to Krishna when he's usually seeing Krishna as Vishnu? Like his Brahma prayers for creative energy, for example, were to Vishnu in awe and reverence. And here he is meeting Krishna and acknowledging that, you are God. You can't convince me you're not God. But I don't know where I'm going with that.
No, I understand what you're trying to do.
Okay.
He is still, if you read those prayers carefully, he's still absorbed in awe and reverence. He is. He's even though Krishna's appearing in this beautiful cowherd boy form, and he's looking for his cows. That was so beautiful when he said that. I'm just here looking for my cows, when you're watching, you're the big, but this is his Leela, and this is what he likes to do. He likes to be, walking around with no clothes practically, like a little boy, and not affected and so detached from the material energy. But Brahma is in awe and reverence, I think, of Krishna still. He's observing that he's a cowherd boy, but then he's also observing all of these Vishnu forms came out, and I think he's pretty awed.
We have a good example. It's coming up in the next slide, but let me take it up from the book here. This is Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary on text one. This chapter relates how Brahma, though maintaining a mood of reverence, immersed himself in the great ocean of Krishna's sweetness. That is so sublime.
Amazing.
That's so beautiful. While maintaining his reverence, understanding, because look what he's just viewed. That's why it was important. I hope everybody at least took some time to look over the previous chapter, or at least meditate on it. Remember the absolute unlimited power that Krishna revealed to him. He was even Brahmas from other universes were brought into play, and he was understanding his position. But yet now he's standing with Krishna in Vrindavan, who's manifest as a cowherd boy. And one of the things that this first verse does is establish that fact, that I'm offering my obeisances unto you who look like this.
Oh, amazing.
And then he describes exactly what he looked like with the gunja berry earrings and the flute and the features, the yellow garments, that he's establishing something as a foundation. Who am I speaking with here? This cowherd boy. That's who's
But
manifest.
it's
So that's
interesting.
his relationship. And also he's had this before. Isvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. He just saw that. And now he's in Chintamani Pakara Sadmashakalpa Viksha Lakshavartesi. Well, he's not seeing all the Lakshmis and Gopis, but he's seeing the cows and the cowherd boys. He's like from all angles. He's being bombarded by all these different emotions and feelings and realizations and revelations.
So I have a question for you. Is that what is his rasa? Is his rasa fraternal, based in reverence? And you can't really put it in a category, or can you? Because we know that he's reverential.
Right now, what it was
He's observing that.
Yeah, what did it say? Although maintaining a mode of reverence, he's immersed in the great ocean of Krishna's sweetness.
Cheka.
Chattamayi?
He's
Unmute.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna,
Hare
dear
Hare
devotees.
Bol, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna. Nice to see you.
So nice. I think Krishna is creating this dichotomy. He's presenting both the Aishwarya and the Madhurya in one scene, and Brahma is just bewildered by the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yes, nice.
These people.
That's exactly what he did.
Oh, Acharya. Then we gotta probably move on. But
Hare
No,
Krishna.
that's fine. We got plenty of time.
I'm always scared of, I'm actually always scared of like talking too much or asking too much. So
I'll
feel
let
free
you
to cut me
know.
off when
I'll let
need
you
to.
know.
Could you go back to the first reading, please? There's something in there that I really enjoyed.
This part?
Yeah, your
Yeah.
bodily features, you're glittering with a silver electric aura emanating. I love this idea that, and sometimes Prabhupada said, or at least one time I heard him say that Krishna is blackish. So blackish is not effulgent in this world.
Hmm.
Black in this world is, even like by the science of optics, blackness means a lack of light or a lack of color. But Krishna's blackish, but he's effulgent. So that's a small thing that I really enjoyed.
Nice.
And also that line from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that he was in reverence, but immersed in sweetness. I think that's a really excellent model for those of us who are like still, for the foreseeable future in sadhana bhakti. I think that's a nice attitude.
Yes, Caitlin also wrote a nice forum entry pointing that out. Well done. Okay.
Okay, now everyone's returning here. That's beautiful. Let's go on with Manvantara ji. Would you like to read next? I have to find
Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. This chapter relates to how Brahma, through maintaining a mood of reverence, immersed himself in the great ocean of Krishna's sweetness. After praising Sri Krishna with great devotion mixed with knowledge, now Brahma has directly realized that Nandanana is the source of all forms of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Having attained firm devotion at the lotus feet of Krishna, Brahma profusely praises the Lord. Brahma said, "My dear Vasudeva, you are the source of countless forms and are the only worshipable Lord. You are glorified by everyone in the universe, from me down to the grass. In order to attain you, I offer these praises unto you."
Well, that's a giveaway. How come that's a giveaway? It says right here how he's praying. Talk about that. Oh, put the verse back, Patti. Mamatarji.
Yeah,
So can you explain that? He says,
my
you're
dear
glorified.
Vasudeva,
Yeah,
you are the source of countless forms.
Yeah, keep it going.
So Krishna is very bewildering for me, honestly, because Krishna just revealed to him all these thousands of Vishnu forms, and we know by Srila Prabhupada's definition from the last chapter, that these forms are also Krishna himself. So he's not separate from these forms, and that his forms are eternal. But yet this particular form of the cowherd boy, which is the question that was part of what we have to comment about in the forum, he's like totally in awe of this particular unique form of Krishna.
Yeah, it is
I don't know.
definitely.
It's pretty heavy.
Well, he's in awe. Can you imagine Lord Brahma's and the far out thing is he's a jiva. Brahma is a teeny weeny jiva in that humongous body that is great, and he's just the same size as we are. What a special position! What a special, whatever Lord Brahma does is pretty much right on. We are in his disciplic succession. Shall we go on? Because I wanted to mention one thing about Haridas Thakur, who is
Well, that's going to
my
come up
hero.
later.
Oh, it's going to come up later. Well, wait. Okay. Anything else on this verse? No? Madhurya Leela. Will you read? Thank you, Mama Tarji. Madhurya, you
You have to
there?
unmute.
Yeah, I just
Madhurya.
had to unmute. Okay,
Okey-doke.
sorry. Brahma continues. Gunjaberry earrings accent the beauty of your face. Flowers adorn your hair, and a peacock feather rests atop your head. Brahma's description reveals the superiority of the lowly Gunjaberries of Braja to the precious jewels of Vaikuntha. The forest garland of wildflowers and leaves around Krishna's neck is superior to those made of the Parijata flowers from Svargaloka. By mentioning the morsel of yogurt rice in Krishna's hand, the stick and horn, Brahma indicates the superiority of Krishna's cowherd boy form from all others. In mentioning Krishna's soft feet, Brahma indicates that those wandering in the forest of Vrindavan become filled with ecstasy upon seeing Krishna's footprints. By stating that Krishna is the son of a cowherd man, Brahma shows the superior fortune of Nanda over Vasudeva.
Swami, you have to unmute.
Sorry. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, these Gunjaberries, they're very special and popular in Vrindavan, especially in the worship of Radharani. Like,
Can you explain this picture here, Andrea?
It's it looks like the thumbprint of Lord Chaitanya at what's that temple? Gokulananda, yeah. But surrounded, yes. And who did he give that to? Was it Raghunath Das?
Raghunath Das.
Yeah. So it's in that temple, so they'll show it to you.
Yeah.
And
Have
it's
you seen it?
surrounded
Have
Yes.
you seen it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought they had it just on the altar. Now I guess they hide it.
Oh yeah.
It
So
used to
now
be
they
right
have
on the
everything in the open. You can even get darshan of all the deities of Vrindavan on Instagram. I mean,
altar.
all the deities, everything you can get darshan. You can allowed to take pictures, everything. It's amazing. Things have changed.
Yes, good.
This little necklace, these little beads, for those who don't know what it is, those are the Gunja berries. So Krishna was wearing some earrings made of these berries.
That's pretty humble.
I read about it once, but I forgot about it. Do you know the history of the Gunja berries?
No. If you find it, post it.
In my free time, sure.
Okay.
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 Well,
Well,
that's-
if Krishna reveals it to you somehow.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Does anyone else have something to say about this?
Hare Krishna, I'm just delighted to see this photo of the beautiful Sheila. Thank you for posting it.
Ah, I actually took that photo, probably around
Wow.
1982.
Wow. Well done.
Right.
Is it in the
Good.
book?
Yes.
Oh, it's in his book, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai,
Oh, wow.
which was one of the first books that we as a movement produced about Vrindavan. So that was a really nice book.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on. Madhurya, can you read? Oh, you read. Sorry, darling. Faye. Thank you, Madhurya ji. Faye, welcome back. And both of you, welcome back. Nice to see you both.
Hello.
Hare Krishna.
So now we switch over to Krishna book. This is text 2.
Text 2, Krishna book. My dear Lord, people may say that I'm the master of all Vedic knowledge, and I'm supposed to be the creator of this universe. But it has been proved now that I cannot understand your personality, even though you are present before me just like a child. You are playing with your boyfriend's calves and cows, which might imply that you do not even have sufficient education. You are appearing just like a village boy, carrying your food in your hand and searching for your calves. And yet, there is so much difference between your body and mine that I cannot estimate the potency of your body. As I have already stated in the Brahma Samhita, your body is not material. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the body of the Lord is all spiritual. There is no difference between the Lord's body and his self. Each limb of his body can perform the actions of all others. The Lord can see with his hands. He can hear with his eyes. He can accept offerings with his legs, and he can create with his mouth.
Okay. That's pretty far out. Would you like to say something about this, Faye, before we move on?
Yes, Mataji, if teacher could kindly put the words back since I'm forgetful. It helps. Okay. One of the things that comes across very beautifully to me from the earlier pages and is carried forward into this particular page, we're seeing the contrast between Krishna in Vrindavan and Krishna in Dwarka. In one place, he was viewed with great reverence and awe, and in another place, he was viewed as an ordinary little boy. But they always loved that little boy so dearly. And if teacher puts the words back again, forgive me. Here, it reminded me not only of Brahma Samhita, but the instances that we have studied with in Sri Isopanasad or Sri Isopanasad. I forgive my pronouncements of words. But in that, we're awestruck with what the Lord's body, being transcendental and majestic and spiritual, can do that we can't even imagine. And I think it's ironic here that Brahma has seen just a few moments ago all of these Vishnu Murti forms, and he's still going, huh? You can almost see him scratching his head in amusement, amazement, and wonderment. Here he's pulled a great prank, but the prank backfired on him. He is seeing the majesty of the Lord in such an overwhelming way. And here the Lord prefers to be in his simple cowherd boy form. Primeval, primitive, pristine, practical, gundra berries, beautiful flowers in his hair. This is the way Krishna relates to us as his devotees in a two-armed form. the last thing that struck me in reading all of this over and over in Srila Prabhupada's many, many purports, he often says a phrase that sticks to my heart. From Brahma down to the insignificant ant. And my takeaway in this, if Brahma can get bewildered, confused, amused, and everything else, then it's okay for me, smaller than an ant, to be bewildered, confused, and everything else. But in those instances where the curtain comes back and you see Krishna for just a glimpse, that's enough for me.
Me too.
That's the beauty of these back and forth parallels that our teacher has so lovingly prepared between Krishna book and all the nectar that's there, pulling forward the Rama Samhita, just different things that you're pulling out, Thakur's writings. This is the nectar that we're churning right now as a group, and it's absolutely astounding that even this much of my brain is taking in anything. But boy, does it make me happy. That's what I'm getting out of this class.
Good, great hat. That's perfect. You're doing fine. Just be happy. Yes, yay, perfect. Your happiness is based on some reality. That's why reality makes us happy. Chant to be happy. What happened to that? Chant to be happy. Acharyaji, thank you, Faye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Yeah, that was a beautiful comment. It reminded me of, now I can't remember if it's the third or the fourth canto when Lord Varaha appears, and he appears from the nostril of Lord Brahma, and in the purport, and he's bewildered, seeing that come out of his nostril and grow into this huge form, and he's bewildered. And Prabhupada says in a purport there that a devotee may be bewildered, but he's never discouraged. So I was reminded of those words from that
Such a nice,
beautiful comment.
Beautiful, thank you. Bewildered but never discouraged. That's something we got to write it on our arms and show it to each other. Wonderful. Thank you, Acharyaji. Anyone else have something to say about this verse? Neil, would you like to read?
I will give it my best shot. Good morning, all.
Hare
Good morning.
Krishna, welcome back. Welcome back to you.
Help me outside pronounce or anything up, right? Brahma continued, your appearance as a cowherd child is for the benefits of the devotees. And although I have committed offenses at your lotus feet by stealing away your cows, boys and cows, I can understand that you have mercy upon me. That is your transcendental quality. You're very affectionate toward your devotees. In spite of your affection for me, I cannot estimate the potency of your bodily activities. It is to be understood that when I, Lord Brahma, the supreme personality of this universe, cannot estimate the childlike body of the supreme personality of Godhead, then what to speak of others? And if I cannot estimate the spiritual potency of your childlike body, then what can I understand about your transcendental pastimes? Therefore, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, anyone who can understand a little of the transcendental pastimes, appearance and disappearance of the Lord, becomes immediately eligible to enter into the kingdom of God after quitting the material body. This statement is also confirmed in the Vedas, as it is stated simply, by understanding the supreme personality of Godhead, one can overcome the chain of repeated birth and death. I therefore recommend that people should try to understand you. I
Not
recommend
try.
that people should not try to understand you by their speculative knowledge.
Okay,
I recommend that people
he's
should
bewildered.
understand you.
Can you understand what you just read?
Do I, do I understand it? No. It's I would say partially, partially, yes. I believe what he's saying is back to there's a whole lot more here than meets the eye in one
Good.
1 inch, one little bit at a time. We just get a little bit closer. Don't get discouraged. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
keep
pretty
trying.
good. And you don't get discouraged. We've been doing this for over 50 years.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning things, and there's things, I mean, Proverbs purports are the Vedas. The Vedas means books of knowledge that are eternal, and and the Bhagavatam is considered to be one of the Vedas. This is where Brahma actually wrote the Vedas. These are the rules and regulations, how we can become reestablished in our eternal relationship with Krishna. The Vedas.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. That was
Thank
good.
you.
Anyone else would like to say something about this?
Well, another point that he's emphasized. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go
Manvitar.
ahead.
Manvitar, go
Manvitar.
ahead.
No, please, you finish, please.
I was just going to say that he's emphasizing that he knows his position. He's the original first created being in this universe, emanating from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. He's been instructed directly by the Lord. He engineers the entire affairs of the entire universe. It's said that he's practically omniscient throughout the universe, knowing what's going on everywhere. He holds the universe. Narada says in the second canto, you know what's going on in the universe, just like somebody who's holding a walnut in their hand. So he's extremely powerful, but he's bewildered. So he's saying, if I can't understand, then what to speak of others? If even I, in this position, with that much awareness and consciousness, if I can't understand, then what to speak of others? And if I can't understand your body and what it and the potencies that it has, then how can I possibly understand the happiness you're feeling and the experiencing you're having with your cowherd boys? In other words, he's digging himself deeper into the feelings of repentance. And I'm please forgive me. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I've interrupted you.
Oh, beautiful. First, let's hear from Manvantara and then Chetan. Manvantaraji, did you want to
Yes,
speak?
and I'm glad you shared that before I shared, because he is the grandsire of this entire creation. The whole point of creating this universe or this earth and everything was to get us back to him. And grandsire Brahma is like, I don't even get you. You know what I mean? And he, so how am I going to instruct basically everybody in the same way he was instructing his son to Lord Brahma was instructed his son to procreate men, on the earth, and he was like, "Well, the earth is in the water. What am I going to do? You need to guide us on this." So, back in November 2019, you and Shamapriya created this list that we had to write on regarding form, function, mission, and so forth for the different avatars of Krishna. And I was thinking on that because Brahma is seeing this little boy in his original form, and he was like, well, and I started thinking, well, what is the function of Krishna in that particular form? And it's probably just to enjoy.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just to enjoy. So that's Krishna's function, and all the other functions. And so it's bewildering.
Okay. I figured out another reason why someone who is trapped in a material body would be bewildered seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are used to matter, which is finite. There's a beginning, middle, and an end matter, right? There's nothing that we know in this world that doesn't have a beginning, middle, and an end. But he's bewildered seeing this little boy, Krishna, and what is bewildering him so much? He is infinite. He's infinite because spirit is infinite. And because we're encased in material bodies, we're not used to seeing something infinite, eternal, filled with bliss and knowledge. We only see finite things. So that would be one reason why Brahma is bewildered. Even though a little cowherd boy, his body is totally spiritual and there's no end to it. There's no end. Because it's spirit. It's infinite and eternal. I don't know. What do you think about that realization, Kati? Say it now.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Chatamani had something.
Okay. Yes, Nai.
Thank you. Thank you, Dhruva, for bringing up the qualities of Krishna that Lord Brahma is having trouble understanding. And by admitting that he's having trouble and that he went off the deep end, considering that he could pull one over on Krishna, this is a warning to all of us that speculative knowledge is actually the pervading view.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah, and there's going to be more on that topic coming up in this chapter, thankfully.
What is the pervading view? What kind of knowledge?
Speculative knowledge. People don't want to know who Krishna. They can't. It's inconceivable that Krishna.
They don't know
Because
it's spirit.
And he's a sweet little boy. It's inconceivable. So
they also in modern world don't accept knowledge coming from higher from outside this universe. Certainly, that's why it's empiric. It's the deductive method of trying to understand something. Experiment with it. Try to figure it out.
Opposite. Totally opposite.
Yes, it is. It's totally opposite.
Totally opposite from
The way
spirit.
what Brahma is saying is, don't speculate. Don't try to figure it out. You can't. It has to be bestowed upon you. It has to be revealed.
You can't understand it in a material way or a mundane way. You cannot understand it. And we're so addicted thinking we're these bodies and these are the only field that we have. We don't have any access to anything other than material. It goes so deep. It goes so deep into our hearts, into our minds, into our souls. We are covered to the max, Maya knows how to do her work. But this is spiritual. This is Krishna. No wonder he's bewildered. It has nothing to do with his reality.
Nice.
Anybody who understands Krishna, I'm Lord Brahma. I say to them, I don't understand Krishna because we're trying to understand through this. Okay, well,
just a note, Acharya put a nice verse in the chat for those that want to refer to it.
But could you read that? Because I am getting all confused if I put up a chat. Because also, Faye did something. It
says, the devotees of the Lord, or all confidential servitors, are sometimes perplexed in the discharge of their respective duties, but they are never discouraged. They have full faith in the Lord, and he paves the way for the smooth progress of the devotee's duty.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, that was
Hare
good.
Krishna. Faye, did you want to read that quote that you put in? Because, or did everyone see it? I thought I saw something from you, but then I pressed the wrong button. Oh, it's from Acharya.
Yeah.
Thank you, Acharya ji. All right, let's have Caitlin read the next one.
Thank you.
Caitlin, hey, sweetie, how are you?
Good. How are you? It's so nice to see everyone.
Yeah, wow, I'm so happy.
How are the boys?
How are the boys?
They're wonderful. Yeah.
Good for you.
Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-2, text 2, and this is from the Shartha Darshini. My dear Lord, neither I nor anyone else can estimate the potency of this transcendental body of yours, which has shown such mercy to me, and which appears just to fulfill the desires of your pure devotees. Although my mind is completely withdrawn from material affairs, I cannot understand your personal form. How then could I possibly understand the happiness you experience within yourself? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Hearing Brahma's praises, Krishna may object. Listen, Lord Brahma, you are the master of all powers in this universe, while I am but the son of a cowherd man in the forest. You are an ancient and exalted personality, and I am but a small boy. You are knowledgeable of all the Vedas and endowed with the most exemplary conduct, but I am an ignorant keeper of cows and so unaware of proper conduct that I run around with some yogurt rice in my hand. You are the Supreme Lord, full of bliss, and the controller of all illusion. But I am bewildered by your illusion and wander about the forest grieving over lost calves. Thus, I am not qualified for your praise.
Keep going.
Fearing such objections from Krishna, Brahma spoke this verse, repenting for having offended Krishna due to his ignorance. I cannot estimate the greatness of your transcendental body, engaging in childish play, what to speak of your pastimes of youth. If I cannot understand the potency of your transcendental body, then how could I possibly understand the happiness you experience within yourself by herding the calves? I cannot comprehend the happiness of your cowherd friend. I cannot comprehend the happiness your cowherd friends feel, what to speak of the happiness you experience by directly playing with them. If a person with a controlled mind cannot understand that happiness, what can be said of those with uncontrolled minds? In this way, Brahma expressed 5 levels of ignorance. Brahma described Krishna's body in this way to prove that the Supreme Lord cannot be understood by yoga, austerity, or shastric study. Krishna is understood only by mercy.
Okay. Would you like to say something about what you just read, Caitlin?
It's just there's so much. It's very
There's so
limited.
much.
Yeah. It is. It's like, why is Krishna having this mood of what is the purpose? What is the function of him having this mood of humility with Brahma, like telling him he's not worthy of his praise? That is bewildering to me.
Why do you think that is? That's a good point. Why do you think he's displaying this kind of humility?
Obviously I feel it would probably be for a lesson for us. It's out of compassion. It's like, let me demonstrate this humility, right? And this is how we make advancement, right? Is by having this mood. And so if I went, well, it's not that he wants us to have that mood, but that's, he is just modeling, right?
Okay, so you know that verse, what wise men do, others follow. Is that from the Bhagavad Gita, right? Charlie, where's that from? Bhagavad Gita? Yeah.
Yes.
Wise men do, others follow. So when Krishna does something, it certainly is for the benefit of the entire universe and of all living entities. And he is showing us how to behave. And all of this Bhagavatam, we're seeing how self-realized souls and the Supreme Personality of Godhead behave.
Yeah.
This is a very, as far as that topic goes, I think it's really important to take lessons about behavior in a high manner of respect. And he's respecting Lord Brahma, which is very proper, actually. Ian, hello, Ian. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Nice to see you back.
Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna.
What would you like to say, Ian?
Just a quick comment with Lord Chaitanya. He came in the role of a devotee, Lord in the role of a devotee. So when there were times that people were saying that you Supreme Lord, he said, no, I'm not, In other words, we were saying that,
good.
yes, I remember, saying, no, it's something in the presence of devotees in that, that mood, that circle. they know, you know. But in terms of outside, say, no, I'm not, and you know, you cover the ears and run away. So I was just struck by the thought that the Lord was saying, you know. I mean,
Good. Very good comparison. Excellent. You know,
yes.
excellent comparison.
Yes.
Krishna shows us how to behave. Lord Chaitanya made a very important point. No, I'm not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You know, I'm not Krishna. Of course he is, but he's showing us that we should not think that we are the Supreme Personality of God. Very good point, Ian. What else do we have on this one?
Before we go on, just want to point out that as we progress in this Sarata Darshini, this technique, this style, this way of presenting philosophy that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur used here, where he creates a supposed conversation between Lord Brahma and Krishna. In the first part of the verse, he's saying, hearing Brahma's praises, Krishna may object. And then he says, fearing such objections, Brahma spoke this verse. In other words, he's drilling down into why Brahma's speaking this way by creating a scenario that of why Brahma's speaking that way. And as we progress through the book, please note how this often takes place in the Rasa dance, especially. There'll be many conversations that are in the purports between Krishna and the gopis that fluff out and help us better understand the verses and the narrative of what's happening in the Leela, in the same way that it's helping us understand Brahma's position and Krishna's attitude in this particular circumstance. Just wanted to bring that up because it comes up it's a way that he writes constantly.
Okay, so we had a discussion about this morning, but now I want to mention something. This is not speculation. This is a pure devotee's absorption in this Leela. It's not based on speculation. It's based on pure truth and knowledge. So we can't think that, well, Vishnu Chakravarti is saying, well, it may be this, and we're not on that level. We are honored to be able to hear the words of a pure devotee. That's why when we read Prabhupada's books, we're associating with a pure devotee. We can't speculate on this. I can't stress this enough. Everybody's got their opinion and speculates about everything. This is not going to bring us back to Godhead. What's the first process of devotional service? Someone say it quick.
Hearing.
So, and the basic foundation is we hear from the person who knows, from the pure devotee. So we shouldn't think that this is any kind of speculation. It's based on truth and his internal bhav. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is revealing his internal meditation, just like the books of the Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Lalita Madhava, Badadga Madhava. This is the view and the vision of the pure devotee who is on the transcendental platform. This is being revealed to him. So this is not speculation. We shouldn't think that we can go and speculate. These revelations are being shared with us through just like Prabhupada said, it's his ecstasy, his purpose were his ecstasies and his revelations. We shouldn't think that for 1 second that this is Vishnu speculating on how it may be and not. This is a deep meditation. He knows. He's seeing Radha and Krishna and the gopis.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna. So we have 2 more people who can read. Caitlin, thank you, darling. That was very nice. If you have nothing more to say, we'll go on. And Chitamaya, will you please read this, and then Ian.
Jai Gurudev. So, commentary continued. Brahma continued, my Lord, although I offended you, due to your magnanimity, you have shown such mercy to me. That mercy consisted of revealing your sweet human form after showing your awesome Vishnu Murtis. What is the cause of that mercy? Your body is Sva Ichchamaya. It appears in response to the desires of your pure devotees who want to see you and serve you. You show mercy out of affection for your devotees. Though I am an offender, because I have a semblance of devotion, I have become qualified to receive a drop of your mercy. Patiently listening to Brahma, Krishna replied, but to fulfill desires and to show mercy are traits of human beings also.
You can read the next one, and then the last one will be for Ian.
Okay,
Okay. Commentary continued. Brahma responded, but my lord, your body is not material. Your body is spiritual. Brahma Samhita 5:32 says, Anjani yasya sakalen driya vritimanti pashanti panti kalyanti chiram jaganti. Every part of Krishna's body has all the potencies of the other parts of the body. This verse shows not only that the Lord can perform any bodily function with any of his limbs, but also that he can see through the eyes of his Vishnu expansions. And similarly, that he can hear through the ears of any Vishnu expansion. Although the Lord can perform any function with any one of his senses, in his transcendental pastimes as Govinda, he generally sees with his eyes, touches with his hands, and hears with his ears. Thus, Krishna acts like the most beautiful and charming young cowherd boy.
okay, very good. So, in terms of what we just discussed, can you see how Vishwanath Chakrabarti is explaining, with reference to Brahma Samhita, the mood of Lord Brahma? You see?
So Lord Brahma keeps going back to the Aishwarya mood. He's saying, but you're amazing. You can do this. You can do anything. You can see through the eyes of your avatars so much that is inconceivable. But Krishna, for his part, keeps coming back to seeing with eyes only, hearing with ears only, touching with skin only, so that he can be human-like and so that he can relate to us. It's all about relationship. He just wants to be in touch with us. He wants us to be in touch with him. He was looking for those exchanges. This is the purpose. And this is why he bestows his mercy, because he knows we have the choice, and he knows that we often abuse our choices. So he says, look, come on. He extends himself. What's that saying? Krishna takes 10 steps towards us for every one that we take towards him, because he wants this interaction.
Very good. Thank you. Anyone, Acharya?
Yeah, I have some thoughts, and I also want to hear what you and other devotees want to say about it. Where Lord Brahma says that because I have I'm a semblance of a devotee, or I have a semblance of devotion, Krishna gave his mercy. I can't remember the exact words, and that really struck me. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said about that verse, Archayame Vaharye, that the Prakrita Bhaktas, the materialistic devotees who worship the Lord in the temple but don't know how to relate with the devotees. And he said, actually, these people are not devotees, but we'll classify them as devotees so that they can associate with the real devotees and make advancement. So I was wondering about this semblance of a devotee. Like, I think of myself, oh, I'm a devotee. But if I think about it, it's entirely possible that really maybe I'm just a semblance of a devotee, and So especially after hearing Brahma speak like that and think like that, I was
Good.
just so curious if you or others had thoughts on that.
Okay. I would think that's a very nice attitude that you have. We are trying to become devotees. And in the same way, we are devotees. You know, if there's a line, devotees, non-devotees, we're favorable towards Krishna, but we should always think of ourselves, you know, not really devotees, but trying to become devotees. A humble attitude is
Isn't one of the symptoms of devotional service, the symptoms of surrender,
right.
is to think oneself a devotee of Krishna?
Oneself.
Yes.
Yeah, that it is one of the symptoms, but still there is the mood of I'm not even devotee. There's a mood of trying to become a devotee still, not being proud of being a devotee. The pride can get into anything.
As this chapter progresses, we'll see how appreciative Brahma was of the love of the Brijbasis, the cowherd boys especially, but also Mother Yasoda. When he sees that love, then he can understand, oh, I have such a long way to go. I would consider it a great benediction to become a blade of grass so that they step on me. So in that sense, he's feeling very humbled. It's a fine line, just like we read in the beginning about how in this chapter, Brahma maintains a mode of reverence while entering into the sweetness of Krishna. That blend is very beautiful.
Well, where is it? I think it was in the Navamit Mahatmya, that story of Lord Brahma feeling so bad.
Yeah, that'll come up at the end of this Leela.
Oh, I'm going
At
to
the
say
end of
it.
the chapter.
Can I say it? Because it's something that you can hear a million times. It never grows old. Lord Brahma, I'm saying it. Lord Brahma he felt so humbled. Oh, Lord Chaitanya. He felt so humbled that he begged forgiveness, and he wanted to be in the Leela of Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord Chaitanya said, okay, you will take birth in this Leela sorry about this. You'll take birth in a way that you will never be proud, And then he comes, oh, my heart is that he comes as Haridas Thakur, the greatest of all devotees.
Nice.
The greatest of all devotees. And he's the head of our Sampradaya. No. Who's better than Haridas Thakur? Hare Krishna. Okay, I blew it. I did blow it. But it's something we could just hear it millions of times. Shall we go on now? Or did you want someone else to answer also? Let's go on and then come back. Okay? Because we have one more person to read. Ian. And then we'll come back to all these other discussions if we want to. Ian, will you like to read this last verse for us?
Yes, okay. So once again, I'm sorry, return to the Sangha. And I'm sorry for joining late. I could not find the Zoom link. So I remember the last two numbers, and I remember that. Finally, I remember the first one, so I got that. But anyway, so thanks again for getting my Sangha.
Nice
Good
to
to
meet
hear
you
you.
anyway.
What?
Yes, yeah. So commentary continued. Brahma continued, my Lord, you have shown me the form of Vasudeva, who bestowed mercy by teaching me the four verses, Chatusloki of Bhagavatam, to fulfill your desires. Your transcendental body is the source of these Vasudeva forms. Though your body fulfills your desires, it is spiritual and not like our bodies, which are products of matter. I cannot estimate the potency of your spiritual body, even though I have read the Vedas and studied the fruit of the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam. I cannot even understand the greatness of your Vasudeva forms. What to speak of the greatness of the original source of those transcendental forms, two-armed form of Govinda. in this topmost of transcendental forms, as an innocent colored boy, you intensely relish the pastimes of stealing butter, drinking the gopis' breast milk, tender calves, playing your flute, and enjoying your childhood pranks, which are extraordinary even in comparison with the activities of your Krishna expansion.
Oh, you have something to say about that? How
Yeah, so
wonderful Krishna is.
yeah, so okay, so we are saying that we are saying that in the chapters where remember that Lord Brahma had the meeting with Lord Krishna when he was saying that he will start the 4 Chatusloki. Yes, in the earlier chapters. So we're saying that show me the by teaching. So he was showing mercy by teaching Chatusloki. So and now he's seeing the Lord in this Leela. Yes. So I was saying that I just comment last word, I cannot even understand the greatness of Vasudeva forms, but they speak of the greatness of original source of, those transcendental forms, the 2 armed form of Govinda. So I was saying that he could not understand the Vasudeva form. No,
Right.
what about the original, 2 armed form of Govinda?
Right.
Yeah. So and you
Good.
mentioned the forms that are innocent, code boy, etc., etc. So finally, I would just say that this is why the Krishna Leela is so unique in the sense there are so many different parts in the various Leelas. And for Lord Brahma as a supreme person, in the universe, to be so bewildered, it is, real nectar.
It's,
That's a little bit, Hare Krishna.
that's beautiful. It's true. Lord Brahma is bewildered. I mean, how can we think we have it? This is really amazing. Okay. Thank you, Ian. And thank you, everyone. Let's have an open discussion for a little bit here. If anybody would like to say something, it's really sweet to have Acharyaji.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm doing it again, talking too much, but there's just so much here. This is fresh in my mind because it was the Bhagavatam verse 2 days ago in the Philly temple, and I follow it. So, and it was Uddhava in the 3rd canto, remembering the pastimes of Krishna to Vidura. And he talks about how Vasudeva brought Krishna from Mathura to Gokul. And he said, and Uddhava said, and Krishna lived there for 11 years like a covered fire. Like a covered fire. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on that there's 2 ways that Krishna was like a covered fire. One is that he doesn't show himself to those who are envious or those who are trying to understand Krishna with their material senses and material mind. And the other way he's a covered fire is that he covers his own opulence and godhood for the sake of the sweetness of the relationship with his devotees. And this pastime is so much like embracing both of those and talking about both of them, like even like right next to each other, those 2 concepts sort of, bumping into each other and playing with each other here. I just found that really beautiful and really interesting.
Good.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that reference.
Thank you.
Great one.
Very beautiful. Oh, God. Hare Krishna. Anyone else like to say something?
Hare Krishna. I have just a question about, I don't know if it's the timing. I guess my Kali Yuga mind wants to put things in a certain order, but I'm like, well, why is Brahma having this bewilderment? And how does that relate to the Brahma Samhita? I mean, he already said that Govinda is this, and this is, a certain way.
He's having personal darshan now. He's seeing it. And he had personal darshan before, but I don't know if he saw this cowherd boy Krishna. Did he, Bhatti? He didn't.
Sure he did. He describes him.
Oh, that's right.
Yam Shama Sundaram Achinta Guna Swarupam.
Right.
He plays the flute. He tends the
question.
cows. I don't think that he understood. He perhaps, the way it sounds like, nice question, Kate. But
Very
what
nice.
comes to mind is that he saw the Kishore form, the Navayovanam Cha form of the Lord. Now he's seeing this little 5-year-old boy. He's not putting it together that they're the same person. He's a simple cowherd boy. It's also a covering of Yogamaya for Leela, but he's bewildered about this little boy. Even Krishna is saying in that one verse that I'm going here and there with yogurt rice. I don't follow any rules or regulations of the Vedas. I'm just a cowherd boy. I'm probably dirty most of the time, being pulled around by calves and getting muddy and cow dung all over me. So how could he possibly, the supreme person of this universe, think that this little boy was the same as that one that he had darshan of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, and it was some time ago in his lifetime. Not real sure when that revelation of Brahma Samhita came about, but because timelines, there's so many different creations. Every day there's a new creation for Lord Brahma. But that would be my my understanding, that he's expressing his ignorance about who he's dealing with due to that simplicity of this particular form.
So it would be the first time he saw that form of Krishna.
He's 5 years old. By the way, how do we know how old he is? Can anybody remember the series of events that have led up to this to help us understand that he's only 5 years old during this pastime?
Something about the cows, taking care of the calves, and then he's taking care of the cows. Because this is all the cows.
Anybody go back and remember?
No, it's the
Don't-
calves.
I'm trying to do it out loud.
Oh, sorry.
Aghasura was killed and it wasn't revealed for 1 year. Why?
Oh, that's
Brahma
what.
sorry. So Brahma
Go ahead.
had taken away the boys and the calves. So, and for a year. So
Yeah.
they would not be able to. Yeah. So when they did report, it was a year. It was actually a year later.
Right, so which will be 6 years old.
Right. Yes.
Right, so he's 5 years old when Brahma stole the cows, and he's 6 years old now that Brahma is coming to and offer his respects and these prayers. So he's actually 6 now. But the point, Kate, that is that he's such a young boy that manifestation has bewildered Brahma. He's not connecting that it's the same person. And there has to be some Yogamaya influence, no doubt. But perhaps as we progress, it will be more clear.
Great question. Very good question. Anything else? Okay, now we're all
well,
going back to Godhead.
Look forward to more nectar. That's only the first 2 verses.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. See you next week.
I'm
sorry I missed it.
Have a good week, everybody. Hare Krishna.
I'm sorry I missed it because here in Vancouver we have difference of a time and I was in another class.
Too bad.
And I feel like
Next
pulling my
time.
hair.
Okay, next time we see you.
Yes. Yeah, try and remember that. And I'll post the video of it.
Thank you so much because I read and I was so thrilled and I was like, I don't want to miss it, and I did it.
Too bad.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hari Bol Samapriya. Thank you.